Hey Team Worldwide, we are here inside the Cool Clubs Bay at Roger Dunn, Santa Ana. I'm here with Harry Nodwell. He is the product line manager for Wilson Golf. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Thank you for having me.
Today we are going to check out Wilson products. I'm sure you've heard of them, and there's been a lot of hype in the industry, especially around the drivers. We've got a fun activation today. We're going to stroll up the range, find someone that wants to test, bring them in and let them experience all the drivers so people can get a real world live experience.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what comes out of it.
All right, Danny, thank you for participating in this. It's going to be a bit of fun.
All right, I'm in.
Tell us a little bit about your golf journey. Is Roger Dunn your local store here in Santa Ana?
Yes, yeah, Roger Dunn's my local store. I live up in North Orange County, so it's a quick little commute down here. My golf journey, I've been getting more and more involved in the golf for the last 3 years. Getting a little bit more serious about it, but always played with older clubs or hand-me-down clubs, so kind of looking to pick up a new driver and look at some new clubs and figure out what's going on with my swing and everything.
Awesome. Well, we're going to dive into it today. Have you ever looked at the Wilson products before?
I have not, no.
Okay. Well, this is going to be a crash course. You got the man Harry here to give you all the info you need.
All right.
So we're going to do a little thing first. We'll kind of run you through each of their models, and then we'll dive a little deeper and try and dial it in for your game too. So Harry, let's kick us off with what's the first one out of the gate?
We're going to go 10.5 Dynapwr Max. This is our maximum MOI play, so more forgiveness. But we've also got that Packer 360 face in there. So for those golfers that spray a little bit more on that face, it's designed to get better standard deviations, allow it to be tighter. So you're not going to lose that much energy transfer. The ball speeds are going to be pretty consistent. Spin should be right where you want to be. Okay, well, let's hand it off and hit a few shots. Let's do it.
Okay, so we're kind of doing a little bit of a standard test. We're giving you a 10.5 degree head. We've got a 60 gram stiff shaft, stock version. We're going to use the same loft and shaft so you can try all the heads with like an even keel, and then we'll dial in a bit deeper. So let's get about 6 or so shots with this one if you can. So Danny, before you hit this one, just looking down at it, is this something appealing to your eye? What are your first impressions of the product?
Yeah, it's clean. I like a smoother club head that doesn't have a bunch of designs and stuff on it. The weight feels good, feels balanced.
Do you have like a consistent miss in your game? Is it more left, more right?
Yeah, I would say more right usually.
Harry, tell us what you'd expect in terms of like spin characteristics for the Max and then kind of compared to the others in the line.
Yeah, the Max is going to be a little bit more spinny. It's kind of designed to help golfers get the ball in the air and have more maintaining spin, so longer down range. And then you go down to the LS, it's going to be that lower spin. So for golfers who spin it a little bit too much, that one could potentially be an option. Then you've got kind of a middle ground with the carbon.
Yep. What about footprint? Good swing, Danny.
Footprint of this, yeah, so we go on LS is 445cc, and then you go up to 460 in the carbon and 460 in the Max. With the LS, you've got more of a deeper face in there, more aerodynamic play to get as fast as possible speeds.
Yep.
And then we've also gone aerodynamic play as well, but also got a little bit more of a toe peel on the LS compared to the carbon, and we got less of the toe peel on the carbon, then you got more of a straighter on the top line. So everything that we've done with all three of these drivers is geared towards LS is going to be slightly better player potentially. Carbon could be do better player and a little bit higher handicap, and then Max is more of that maximum forgiveness. People that need a little bit more forgiveness on that play, and to just kind of be a little bit better down range as well. So we've got everything for everyone, but that's not necessarily saying that a golfer should be in that
specific one.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Just warming up, Danny. It's got the speed moving, 110 mile an hour.
Do you have an average distance that you look out for?
Pretty consistent on the actual golf course, right around 250, 260.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely not the 300-yard guy usually.
Well, you might be at the end of the day.
Hey, I'm in. If I can find that, that would be awesome.
That's a good crack right there.
Found it. Well, that's like the
Frozen
300.
road. Yeah, well, there you go.
Danny, it's in the tank, buddy.
Yeah. All I said
Locked
to do
in.
is talk about it, right?
Locked in right there. Karma
Tell
comes
you I'm
out.
not, and then we'll get there.
That's
good
manifest
numbers right
destiny for you right there.
You just gained like 3 or 4 miles an hour club head speed and jumped up about 4 on ball speed just talking about it alone. Keep talking about it.
All right, there we go, right?
That launch window there, you talked about
Money.
a spin, but like as he hits this well, you can see that player characteristic just works fine.
Yeah, and this is the whole thing about fitting, right? Is kind of get them warmed up, get to an optimal level. You don't want diminishing returns to come as well as you know, because you fit someone into something that might not fit because they're not swinging it well or too early or whatever. So as he's starting to get more and more swings in him, optimal's coming out.
Yeah. Okay, I mean this is a real world test, right?
Yeah.
We kind of want to see everything, and then hopefully when we dial you in at the end, we can work on all of these shots and make it as good as possible.
I love it. Sounds
What's
great.
next on the list to try?
Let's go to carbon.
Okay.
So this is going to be that mid to lower spinning model, right in between everyone's kind of range.
Yep.
We'll go 10.5 straight in, and see what happens.
So basically, we've got the carbon head here. We're just apples to apples, 10.5 degree. We got the stock Ventus TR6 stiff, just to keep the test consistent.
Exactly. Yeah, and then we've got the heavy weight at the back and a little bit lighter in the front. So more of an MOI play on this model.
Yep.
But we can obviously flip them
If we want
once,
that spin.
once we want to drop that spin, drop the launch if necessary. So we can do that.
Perfect. Okay, Danny, next up, Dynapwr Carbon.
Like the carbon fiber finish on this one, the matte front edge. Definitely feels lighter than the other club in your hands. Here we go, just hit a few.
Yeah,
Yep.
do it.
All right.
Sounded thick. That different sound characteristic with the carbon in play.
It's everything. So with our R&D team's done a massive amount of like exploration. We've done actually about 100 years worth of prototypes with our AI technology built in to really dial in that sound on each model.
Yep.
Because we got that carbon fiber crown, it's obviously going to change the sound as well. So we have to do a lot of research and make sure that every single model optimized for sound, because it's an important play for these golfers.
Yeah.
And this one's going to sound a little bit lower pitching compared to the Max because it's a titanium crown on the Max. So this is going to sound a little bit more of a piercing sound.
I think a lot of golfers like that. That
I agree.
stronger muted sound.
Yeah.
Any feel difference here, Danny?
Feels lighter.
Okay. And off the face, feels good?
Yeah, I like the sound off the face.
You didn't like that one?
No, felt like
Okay.
I hit the toe of the club.
We're golfing.
Yeah.
And that's, you know.
That never happens out there, though. What are you talking about?
Well, this is what we wanted to do today. Like, we wanted a real world. We do a lot of robot testing at cool clubs, but we don't get this human interaction sometimes with the R&D. So, like, seeing a real player out there hit it and that miss hit is exactly what we want on the golf course, right?
This is the perfect opportunity to actually, because this probably sounded like it was off the toe a little bit.
Yeah.
Paid huge amount of attention on bulge and roll on that toe area and the heel to make sure that it doesn't overcorrect.
Yeah.
And to make sure that if you do hit it on that toe, it brings it back to target line, just like kind of what you're seeing here. You pushed it right at target line, but it brought it back nicely. It didn't overdraw it. You're still within the numbers. Yes, you can see the ball speed drop down. This is what I was talking about, the face technology, the Packer 360 face, incorporate that bulge and roll. The standard deviations from front to back is going to be way tighter compared to different models.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it held on to it a little bit better than
Yeah.
just cranking off right.
And this might be a little high level, but you know, when we talk about MOI, the Max is obviously your highest MOI version. As you lower the MOI, we saw the Max kind of leaking out to the right a little bit, and this lower MOI carbon is actually squaring up a little easier. So people kind of think when they're mishitting it, they need the highest for giving, you know, MOI, but sometimes these middle models help them square up the face more often.
Yeah, exactly right. And the point about it is, with all three models as well, we've increased MOI. So our previous model on carbon, LS, is above that MOI on that carbon now.
Right.
So from a 23 to now. So we've increased the MOI completely on all models. So really, it is interesting to see. Sometimes they think that I spray all across the face. I need the maximum forgiveness. It's not necessarily the true or what happens in the real world.
Yeah.
But that's why we have all three models, right?
Yeah.
Is to just see what we can dial in these golfers with.
I like that. Like Danny's got no preference. He's no guide for himself. It's just really truly hitting and seeing what we get.
Exactly.
I do really like the sound of this driver.
I'm biased, obviously, but even on miss hits compared to off the button, it still sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where I'm hitting it on the face. It is consistent
Yeah.
with the sound.
Yeah.
Feels good. Nice.
Ah, if you like frozen ropes, that's
Look at that thing.
a good one. Look at that.
I tell you, if we do a good job in the last fitting portion here, Danny,
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll be pretty excited to go and play golf.
Oh, I'm in.
Well, you're already exceeding your own expectations on total distance.
Yeah, right?
If you're around
Yeah.
that 260, you're about 20 to 30 yards longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ball's
It's-
landing
yeah.
out past that already.
Yeah.
Really good. Wow.
That's going to be probably 310.
Carried it 290 through the air.
I tell you what, I've watched too much data because he's at 315.
Wow.
But you can just see, like, even though that's probably slightly, maybe a little bit higher toe,
Yep.
your backspin's in that 1900, which is, for me, on the borderline of like controllable, right?
Right.
1800 for me is the borderline.
Yeah.
So 19 gives you a little buffer.
And really, like you say, a little bit in the toe there, that miss hit just drops the RPMs just a touch, but it's not dropping it to the point where it's knuckled out the sky and you get that quick
It's
lap.
still optimal.
Yeah.
100% in that window that we want to be.
Yeah. One more for us, Danny.
All right, let's do it. Same distance, right?
Yeah, we want just like bomb down the middle, 320 if you got it.
No problem. Anytime.
I think
On
you
the
just
man,
did it.
look at that.
You know, like, this is kind of why we do our job, right? Like, this is so excited to see someone come in, start at kind of 108,
Yeah.
not confident necessarily, and then just like finds a driver that starts working. We're at 116 speed here.
And 164 ball
Cruising.
compared to like 155.
Yeah,
We're up 9 miles an hour.
love it. Okay, well, let's switch you in to the last one. Tell us about it.
So the LS is going to be our more compact model, lower spin. It's going to look, to some people, square, some people it's going to look open, right? Because we've got that toe peel. So it's gearing towards that better play. It is designed to be a little bit more right to left bias, just a smidge. So we want to eliminate that left-hand side of the golf course for that right-handed golfer. So you can swing on it as hard as you want in a way and never miss that low left shot.
Okay.
Really geared towards that better golfer. We've optimized the middle of that face, so that Packer 360 is designed to those golfers that kind of stay within that center. It's going to pop a little bit faster for those golfers. Yes, it is a little bit lower spinning and a little bit less forgiving, but overall, it could potentially be the one.
Yeah, I like this as an option.
Yeah.
Last one of the three, you got the Dynapwr LS. Tell us a little bit about the looks and feels again.
Yeah, it feels pretty similar to the last one. It's got a little bit more weight to it, but yeah, so far it seems pretty decent. I haven't really felt the need to get fitted or anything in the past before, but so far it seems to be doing okay.
We kind of see that a lot with players, you know, especially at this retail level. People come into the store, do exactly what you were doing, you know, just kind of hit a few shots on the range and think, you know, this looks good. The great thing about Roger Dunn is you've actually got some data here on the range, but Harry can like kind of lead into like real world fitting experience.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen is regardless of your ability or experience in the golf, your swing is your swing, right? Getting fit is so important. It doesn't matter if you're starting the game or a pro level, we can gear the clubs towards your DNA of golf swing. So it's really, you're good enough to be fit and you don't think you are.
Yeah, I've waited a few years. I've never felt the need to. I felt like I had to get to a certain point or be a decent player before I got fit. Or
Actually, I'm really interested in where did you think you wanted to be at before you
It's a really good point.
be ready to be fit?
solidly in the teens for handicaps. I don't know.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, like that feedback helps us understand like who's really out there,
Yeah.
and hopefully the viewer kind of gets to see here is like you're genuine. Like this is an honest conversation we're having here, and in reality we haven't even truly fit you yet. We've just kind of snapped you into some different options, and we kind of see in performance gains, and that kind of is what sparks the interest to say, wow, like I'm just switching heads, and I'm already seeing that there's some difference. If we use some expertise and some guidance for you to really kind of dial in what you need, you're going to see an exponential jump into like consistency which is going to drag that handicap into that teen range much faster.
It's all about having more fun on the course too, right?
Right, that's why we do it.
That'll help that.
Hey guys, jump in the comments, let us know what you think about this activation. Have you tried Wilson products? Will you try Wilson products now you've seen what's going on here? And we also want to hear about your fitting experience. Are you a bit like Danny? Are you kind of nervous to get in that fitting bay? And does this really break down some barriers for you of entry into fitting and kind of let you know, like, there's results out there? So we want to hear the feedback. We love it. It's what drives our content. So let us know, like and subscribe. We appreciate it. This is interesting. Like, we're looking at Danny on the range, have no idea where our starting point is. Right? We get hit in, and you think, well, maybe Max, this guy's not playing, you know, golf every single day of his life, and want forgiveness. And then we see this like confidence, speed build into the carbon, and then in my head, I'm like, well, maybe LS because he's got a lot of speed, and we did see a couple of spinners.
Exactly, and this is the whole crux is go get fit, go figure it out, like with a fitter. Because you never know what you fit into, and that's what I've said is like all models could potentially be all golfers and cross-contaminate. LS doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be the best ball striker in the world. You could be a potential Max guy when you think of, but find yourself in an LS. You just don't know until you get swinging.
True. Still got that same muted, solid sound as the carbon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones that the R&D have done a fantastic job of really dialing in, one, performance, but two, the acoustics and feel to go along with that performance aspect.
Yeah, and we kind of see what you were talking about just from like a raw design perspective. This thing seems to be biased a little more to the right in this case.
Yep, and that's exactly what we designed it to do. So for those golfers that want to start at left of target line and bring it back without having to do anything with their actual swing, this is the fantastic option for that golfer.
Yeah. We know a lot of high-speed players get afraid of that quick left. This is something that can definitely put up with it.
100%. It's one of those ones that you can wail on it as much as you want and never really see that low left shot come into play.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I know what you're thinking right now, what model, and then we can dial in loft sleeve, shaft, weights. Let's kind of dial it even more so and get any more gains out of it as possible.
One of the things, like, and this may be a good example of a shot, I think a lot of people, especially in that range environment, they go and hit and they find one that goes 300 yards occasionally and spins right, and they're like, this is the one. But the majority of the pack was maybe in this case out to the right. Whereas as a fitter for me, I'm like, we're making lots of different kind of tweaks. I'd rather see the one that goes in the middle, maybe a little shorter, but the consistency is on the fairway, and this is the pattern that we see in building for Danny.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's where, you know, yes, you might get an absolute bomb out of an LS, and you're 10 yards longer, but on consistency from standard deviation from the back, you might be 25 yards shorter.
Yes.
And a different bias, but it's hard for golfers, that one sticks in their head. I hit it 320 down the middle. This is my driver now. But really, if you're trying to lower scores and you want to kind of dial it in a little bit more, again, get fit, but let's look at different things than just distance. Let's look at spin characteristics, consistency, launch, the whole 9 yards to really get in the best product possible for that game.
And I think that's where we're at now. You're right, you've hit basically 6 shots with each driver.
Yeah.
First thing I want to get is like your overall feedback. You know, Wilson as a general, because it's not something that was on your radar and your initial thoughts. And then out of these 3 drivers, which one do you really kind of resonate with?
So far, the middle one seemed to be the most consistent and got obviously the most distance with it, so that felt good, like you were talking about. Yeah. I would have walked off the range right there. But that one felt pretty good. It felt like it was coming around a lot faster. First one and that one. This one seems to be peeling off to the right pretty good and can't seem to get it back.
And that's honestly by design, right? Okay. So the whole point about it is to have that face to hold open a little bit more. So we've got weight in the core of that head positioned in a way to make sure that the face holds a little bit more open. So you start it down the left-hand side of that target line and it just naturally comes back with a fade. So it allows that golfer to swing confidently, knowing that it's going to come and peel back to the fairway. Oh, okay. Not necessarily I would say this one's for you, but it's doing exactly what it's designed to do.
Awesome. Yeah, that would make sense then.
If you've got a few more minutes,
yeah,
Harry and I will kind of tune this to Danny swing a little more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so round this out, we really want to kind of polish this driver up a little bit, make it yours. Let's take a quick look at the numbers to start off with. So going to pick out some key metrics, kind of ball speed, launch, spin, and then we'll jump back to the graphing just to show where those patterns ended up. So the max ball speed, you averaged 155 miles an hour, 12.6 degrees of launch and 3,000 RPMs. The carbon, you averaged at 160, so you picked up 5 miles an hour of ball speed with this head, launched it a little lower at 11 degrees and spun it pretty well the same, spun it a little lower at 2,600. And then we go into the LS, we dropped off that ball speed. That's just like kind of a product of not finding center of the face, you know, matching up face and path. Launched a little higher, same story, 12.7 just because of that, and then 2,800. And you know, this is not a high spin head. It's just when you don't match up face and path, you get spin, you know, additional spin. And then we look at the one that's super easy to kind of gauge, and it's just the graph, right? So red was that max model, green is the LS, and the blue, which is where we're pushing you towards, is that carbon. And you see, obviously, found more center. Your right miss was the best right miss out of all the other options. Harry, lead us into what we've done to this carbon to make it more suitable for Danny.
Yeah, we're looking at the launch and the spin characteristics. We're in a really good window where we're optimizing as much as possible. So we've gone from an S to an X, just to kind of gone from dispersion to maybe to get that lower left one, that long left one I should put on that one, and then that one on the right to try and get it a little tighter. Because it's going to be a little bit stiffer on that tip section, and the overall feel of it is going to feel a little bit stiffer. So fingers crossed it will dial in a little bit more. Yeah,
we've got some other levers to pull if we need. We've got the sleeve setting and the weight front back.
Yeah.
But right now we've kept them in 10.5, so same loft, same sleeve setting as before, just pulling the shaft lever to start with.
So this is that right miss that we first saw on there. It looks a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter, but again, this X flex is going to feel a little bit more stiff.
Yeah.
So getting used to that feeling is definitely a play.
And that's like confidence. We know that he's got 116 miles an hour in the tank, so it's just kind of feeling free and just letting it go. This is exactly what you said.
That's the freeing aspect to it, right? So getting used to, you know, just trust, right? And it's the hardest thing when you pick up a golf club and you're not exactly sure, but jumping up from, you know, when we're in the middle of the carbon, we were jumping up to like 163 ball speed-ish.
Yep.
So just getting used to the feel of that shaft again.
But I like we're straight away, those 2 miss hits out of the gate. And
starting to get a little tighter.
Yeah, much better. Can you feel a difference in the shaft, Danny?
Yeah, it definitely feels stiffer.
Is that a good thing that you're feeling, or just uncomfortable because you haven't gone to an X potentially in the future, in the past?
Feels different. I don't feel like I get that snap on the backswing that I'm used to. I think I've always played with softer shafts or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, right now we've traded off a little distance because we haven't found the golden nugget, but we've still tightened that circle.
The dispersion's got a lot tighter.
Yeah. I like this.
It's definitely better.
And we can talk a little about that. You know, softer golf shafts, especially when players have been used to playing softer, kind of got that pattern in their body where they like, yep, okay, I know, time it. But what we see with that spread pattern is you only do time a couple every now and again that you really get that in the right spot. The trade-off for the softer golf shaft is the spread. So for players like this with speed, and we know there's more speed in the tank, I'd prefer to personally err on the side of stiff to keep it on the planet more often. Yeah,
and that's one where, as they start getting the feel of a more stiffer, more compact shaft, they're going to swing freer because they know that the dispersion's going to come in. So then they potentially start seeing the middle of the face a little bit more, and they see that long one that they can come out with. And
the speed actually can gain then because they feel confident to 100%. Use the speed.
Yeah.
And you know, this was a full step. There's half steps, right? There's tipping. You know, stiff flex golf shafts, there's finding stiffer profile stiffs that kind of are halfway between a stiff and an X, and that may be the case that we need. But this is still the tightest grouping.
It's the tightest grouping, and we're still in stock offering right now.
Right, exactly.
Right, so it's one of those ones that we have other stock offerings that we could look into, but honestly, the groupings are a lot tighter compared to where we're doing that. We just changed the flex.
That's it. Yeah. One lever pull.
A bit of a bullet there.
Yeah.
The one in the links golf in England, for sure.
Yeah.
Keep it under the wind there.
I getting ready for the wind on that one, yeah.
I'll tell you what, one more, Danny. We'll keep that on there.
Yeah, because I'm thinking the same thing. Just keep it in there because it's realistic, right?
Yeah. And it highlights, like, that was a true miss.
But I'm looking at it and I'm seeing backspin is actually still The launch is obviously low, but when everything else comes together, it's playable.
Yeah.
Right.
And the channel that it was in.
Yeah.
It didn't
exactly.
peel away.
Yeah.
Didn't snap over. Didn't like that one either.
No, felt low.
Which is, you know, remember, like you came in here and your expectation was kind of like that 250 range. That's kind of where your head sat with your driver distance.
Yeah.
And even that was a miss hit that got you out there at 260 and right down the center of the fairway, basically. You know, this is a really important story. I feel like there's maybe a little more work that we could do with you, and we might save that for kind of off camera to dial you in perfectly.
All right.
But I think this is a good place and a great story from top to bottom. You know, we truly found you in the range. You weren't ready for fitting in your head.
Nope.
And now today we've kind of demonstrated and hopefully broken down some barriers of entry for you to make your performance on the golf course really good.
It was definitely interesting to see the different clubs and how they perform differently. I mean, I definitely still didn't hit consistently in the center of the club head on all the clubs that we tried, but it was interesting to see how they all played and played differently.
One question, honest feedback, putting you on the spot.
Okay.
Is Wilson on the radar?
Yeah, it is now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for participating in this activation, mate. I'm really excited. I think the carbon is the right spot to be in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We'll spend a little more time with you and make sure that you get the right product today. But thank you again.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you plucking me off the range over there and bringing me in. I definitely wasn't ready for it, so it's it's good.
Well, thank you to Danny for being our robot today, basically, and really helping us and helping you understand what fitting can do and really putting Wilson into view when you're coming into a Worldwide Golf retail location or when you're shopping at worldwidegolf.com. Harry, I want to thank you as well for being the expert out here on the Wilson products and helping guide Danny through that experience. Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to come in.
Remember, Worldwide Golf has been helping golfers for over 50 years, and we are home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guaranteed. We encourage everyone to get fit for their products. So head to worldwidegolf.com and book your fitting, or just go into a Worldwide Golf retail location and talk with an expert about products that are right for you.